Welcome to class number 5 of penalty enforcement. Today we're going to talk about the kicking game. So what are we going to add to our list this week? First of all, we're going to add a new foul type. It's called post-scrimmage kick, and we'll discuss the definition of that. We'll also talk about an additional exception or option that teams have on previous spot fouls during kicks. We have a new basic spot, which is the end of the kick, and then we've got some special enforcements that apply to the kicking game. Okay, so let's introduce our new foul type. So we have a special new foul type called a post-scrimmage kick foul. And it's a foul by R, other than an illegal substitution or an illegal participation foul that occurs at the snap. When this foul occurs during a scrimmage kick play, other than a try or successful field goal, beyond the expanded neutral zone, so it can't be right at the line of scrimmage, it's got to be beyond the expanded neutral zone, before the end of the kick. You have to know the definition of a kick and when it ends. And K will not next be put the ball in play, so essentially R is going to be the next to put the ball in play. So if all those conditions are met, we have post-scrimmage kick foul type, and the basic spot for a post-scrimmage kick foul is where the kick ends. So this is why, as the back judge, we need to have a beanbag down where the kick ends, because we may have a post-scrimmage kick foul, and that is our spot of enforcement. So let's recap our basic spot list. Let's look at them all and see what's new here for the kicking game. At the bottom is our new spot where the kick ends, basic spot, when R commits a post-scrimmage kick foul. So that's a new entry to our list this week. And then we also have a previous spot exception, or it's really not an exception, it's an alternative. So on a normal situation where we'd have a loose ball play and we'd have previous spot enforcement, if this condition is met, the defense has the choice to either take a previous spot enforcement or this new enforcement, and here's what it is. The basic spot may be, at the option of the offended team, be the succeeding spot, where we're next going to snap it, for fouls by K during a scrimmage kick or free kick down, other than kick catching interference, prior to the end of the kick, when K will not be next to put the ball in play. I like to call this the tack-on foul, because we're essentially going to tack on to the end of the play. It's not a definition, it's not a term in the rule book, but for me it makes sense to remember. And this is really to save time. If we had a situation where K had a illegal formation at the snap, and all we would do is back it up 5 and kick it again, well, in this case, R can just say, you know what, let's just tack on 5 to where the play ended and first down, right? It saves time. It saves us from another kick, which we all know bad things can happen during that kick situation. And it helps move the game along. I think it's a good rule. We just, as officials, have to remember to make sure that teams know this, and we offer it to them, and hopefully they take it. There are very legitimate reasons for wanting to replay the down. Maybe they got a 15-yard penalty and they want to back them way up because they're looking for field position. But we need to be able to make sure we offer this. And again, I use the tack-on term for me to help remember it. So that's our 2 new additions to our basic spot list based on the kicking game. And then we have some special enforcements in the kicking game. So the first one is if a free kick goes out of bounds untouched by R. It can be touched by K, but it's untouched by R. Essentially, R has 4 choices here that they can take. The first is a typical 5-yard penalty from the previous spot and re-kick, right? Always have that choice. And again, there may be situations where they want them to do that. They have a good return guy or something. So that's choice number 1. The second one is put the ball in play at the inbound spot 25 yards from the previous spot. So on a normal kickoff from the 40, this would be at R's 35, right? You go to 40, 50, 40, 35. So, and this is one that most teams will take. We have our tack-on option, right? They can take it 5 yards from the succeeding spot. So depending on where the ball goes out of bounds, this might be the better choice. and we'll have a little table here in a second. And then they can obviously decline and take the ball at the inbound spot, which, to be honest, with the tack-on rule now, that one should really never happen, right? They'll get 5 additional yards if they use the tack-on rule and accept the penalty. So if we look at a simple little table, if you can keep this in your mind, this will basically make it easy, right? If the ball goes out of bounds from essentially the goal line to the 30-yard line, their best choice is to take it 25 yards from the previous spot, or ours 35. If it goes out of bounds from the 31 and beyond, so 31 all the way to K's kick line and beyond actually, their best choice is the tack-on enforcement, which is 5 yards from the succeeding spot. So if it goes out at the 31, if they use the 25 yards from previous spot, they get it at the 35. If they use the tack-on, they get it at the 36. So a little simple chart to help you remember what the best choice is for R. Another special enforcement is kick catching interference. If we've got a kick catching interference penalty, the receiving team has these choices. One, they can get an awarded fair catch after a 15-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. And this is by far the best foul that pretty much exists. You get 15 yards, you get the awarded fair catch concept, and essentially this is a big penalty. They always had the choice of taking a 15-yard penalty from the previous spot and replaying the down, standard previous spot enforcement, or again they can take 5 yards from the succeeding spot, where actually if you think about it, if the foul occurred way back at the 10-yard line and there was a big return, taking the succeeding spot enforcement is better. So again, as officials, we need to think about the enforcement spots and make sure we help the team pick the best one. And again, R may decline and accept the results of the play. In some weird situations may also apply. And then our other special enforcement is roughing the snapper, holder, or kicker. This goes along with roughing the passer, which is our only fouls that also have an automatic first down to go with it. So it's a 15-yard penalty and an automatic first down. So if we remember our automatic first downs, they're easy. They're all the roughing fouls. Roughing the snapper, holder, kicker, and passer are all automatic first down fouls, and the only automatic first down fouls. Okay, let's go to our first play. 4th and 10 from the 10-yard line, going out. K's punt is caught by R10 at the 35-yard line and is returned to the 30-yard line. So we've got a simple 5-yard return on a regular old punt. During the kick, R35 holds at the 20-yard line. So let's go through our questions, and notice we've added PSK as a potential answer to this first question. Do we have a live ball or dead ball foul? And then was it a double, a multiple, or a PSK? So in this case, we had a live ball foul, but we also have PSK foul as well, right? We had a foul by R beyond the expanded neutral zone before the end of the kick, where K is not the next to snap. So all of the conditions for PSK foul are met. So that's what we have. So what type of play, what type of foul did we have? Like we said before, it's a loose ball foul with PSK enforcement. The basic spot for a foul like that is the end of the kick. So the kick ended at the 35-yard line where it was caught. So that's where our enforcement spot will be. And in this case, we had a hold, so it'll be a 10-yard penalty from 35. And we will start the clock on the snap because we have a new series after a kick. So if we back it up 10 from the 35, it'll be 1st and 10 for R from the 45-yard line. So remember, our PSK requirements has to be beyond the expanded neutral zone. It's got to be before the end of the kick. K is not next to put the ball in play, so we met all our requirements. And yes, you can still have all but one on a PSK. If for some reason the foul was behind the PSK spot, then you would go from the spot of the foul following the all but one principle. How would we announce this one? Pretty simple. Holding on the defense, point in the direction of the defense. use the number. No problem using the number of players. Coaches want it, and we sort of got over that stigma a few years ago. So no problem announcing the number. 10 yards from the end of the kick, and then first down for R. Again, practice your announcements in front of the mirror. Seems weird, but it's worth it. Okay, play number 2, 4th and 10 from the 10-yard line, going out again. Okay, punts, caught by R10 at the 35, return to the 30, just like before. During the return, R35 holds at the 35-yard line. So what have we got? Live, dead, double, multiple, PSK. This is a live ball foul. Is this a PSK foul? No, it is not. Why? Because the foul occurred after the kick ended. So it was during the return. So in this case, we have a simple return with a foul and does not meet the PSK requirements. So when did the foul occur? What kind of play? It was a running play. It was just a punt return. The basic spot on a running play is the end of the run. We have all but one here. Yes, we do. The foul behind the basic spot, so we're going to enforce from the spot of the foul, which was the 35. And in this case, we'll start the clock on the snap. We have a new series after a kick. So we'll back it up 10. I think we had a hold. We'll back it up 10 from the 35, so it'll be 1st and 10 for R from the 45. Again, if you're the covering official and you are reporting this foul to your referee, make sure you stress either PSK or during the return, because obviously the enforcement spot it will be different. So make sure you know what it is. Don't assume your umpire and your referee know the answer, because they shouldn't be looking at this anyway. So make sure you convey that information as you report the foul. How would I announce this? Holding on the defense, number 35, 10 yards from the spot of the foul this time, first down. Play number 3. Again, 4th and 10 from the 10-yard line going out. K's punt is caught by R10 at the 35, return to the 30, same catch and return. So at the snap, K was in an illegal formation. During the kick, R35 holds at the 20-yard line. So what do we have here? Both are live ball fouls, that's no question. We have a foul on K, illegal formation. We have a foul on R, the hold, which normally makes a double foul, right? But we have a unique situation here. One of those fouls was a PSK foul. So what does that mean? How does that change our normal double foul enforcement? Normally, double foul, we are going to replay the down, right? We got a foul by A, a foul by B before change of possession. Normally, we replay the down. So in this case, like I said, both fouls occurred during that loose ball play before change of possession. But one of those fouls is PSK, and we're given then a little bit of change in thought here, right? Normally, on a double foul, we replay the down, but in this case, we can rule B, got the ball with clean hands, do their PSK foul. PSK is sort of assuming where K is giving the ball up. So once that kick occurs, we can, all the rules are helping us just give the ball to K, tack on, that kind of thing. PSK is all about getting this game moving and not re-kicking. So in this case, we can rule B got the ball with clean hands due to their PSK foul. So what is the normal situation for B to keep the ball in a clean hand situation? They can keep the ball if they decline K's foul and enforce their PSK. So if we decline the illegal formation, we enforce the hold, which would be basically from the end of the kick. B can keep the ball and pack it up 10, and they'll have first down. In this case, we'll start the clock on the snap because of a new series. So we'll back it up 10 from the 35 to the 45, and R will get first and 10. So PSKs add a twist to a lot of things. Just recognize them and know you've got one, and then think about how it applies. Keep on your toes. So how would we announce this? First, illegal formation on the offense. That penalty's declined. Holding on the defense, number 35. 10 yards from the end of the kick. First down. Play number 4. 4th and 10 again from the 10. Case punt is caught by our 10. Return to the 30. Same play. Before the kick, K74 commits a holding foul at the line of scrimmage. So what do we have here? We've got a live, dead. I think it's just a basic live ball foul, right? Nothing fancy. When did the foul occur? During a loose ball play. Basic spot for our loose ball play is the previous spot, or we have an alternative basic spot that R can take. R can also choose to enforce from the succeeding spot, which in this case would be a really good thing to do. And we will start the clock on the snap because we have a new series after the kick. So this is our tack on, right? R has two choices: back it up 10, re-kick, or add 10 yards to the succeeding spot and take the ball. Most of the time, this is a good choice. So it'll be 1st and 10 for R from the 20-yard line. Keeps the game moving. The wings, most likely on our side, need to help the coach make this decision, let them know that they have two choices here. And again, remember, this also applies to free kicks. How would we announce this? Holding on the offense. Number 74, we have a 10-yard penalty would be enforced from the succeeding spot. First down. Play number 5, 4th and 10 from the 10-yard line. Again, K punts. K10 interferes with R's ability to catch the punt at the 35-yard line. The punt hits R10 in the shoulder and is recovered by K88 at the 30-yard line. So we definitely have a kick-catching interference foul, right? K ended up recovering the play, or recovering the ball, but because R was interfered with, most likely that's the reason why. Live, dead, what do we have here? It's not PSK because it's a K foul, not an R foul, right? We just have a live ball foul. When did the foul occur? During a loose ball play. Kick was not over yet. Basic spot is, on a normal loose ball play, is a previous spot, but we have special enforcement for kick catching interference. R has two choices. They can either 15 yards from the previous spot and replay the down, or they can take a 15-yard penalty from the spot of the foul and an awarded fair catch. And in most cases, that's what they'll do. We will start the clock on the snap. We have a new series. So we'd go 15 yards from the 35, the spot of the foul, which would make it to the 20. We'd have 1st and 10 for R from the 20-yard line. What's the significance of that awarded fair catch? Remember, in this case, they're at the 20-yard line. They can choose to do a free kick from that spot on an awarded fair catch if they choose to. And it's a potential here if it's the very end of a half, for example. How would we announce this? Kick catching interference on the kicking team, number 10, 15 yards from the spot of the foul, first down. No need to say anything about the awarded fair catch when you announce. Play number 6. K kicks off from their own 40-yard line. This is a kickoff or a free kick. K's kick touches K10, but it goes out of bounds at the 31-yard line, untouched by R. So we got a kick out of bounds penalty. The ball went out of bounds at the 31-yard line. So we have live, dead, multiple. What do we have here? It's a live ball foul. When did the foul occur? During a loose ball play. Basic spot is typically the previous spot, but we have a special enforcement here. We got a kick out of bounds, untouched by R. So R has, remember, our 4 choices. They can decline, take the ball at the spot it went out of bounds. It's not gonna, usually that will not be the best choice ever. 5 yards from the previous spot and replay may be a reason to do that. Take the ball 25 yards from the previous spot or 5 yards from the succeeding spot. And if you remember our little table, ball went out to 31, so in this case the best choice is 5 yards from the succeeding spot, so they get the ball to 36. The clock would be started on the snap because we have a new series after a kick. So we'd march off 5 from the 31 to the 36. That'd be first and 10 for R at the 36. The best way to handle this is get someone over to the coach, ask if they want to re-kick or take the ball. Most of the time they'll take the ball and they won't even know they get the tack on. Just mark the tack on off first and 10. That's all that needs to happen. And remember that you spot the ball on the hash on the side that it goes out of bounds. You do not put the ball in the middle. This is not a situation where A gets a choice on where they want to put the ball. Ball goes on the inbound spot on the side it went out of bounds. But how will we announce this? Kick out of bounds, which is our sort of rolling arms signal. R has chosen to take a 5-yard penalty from the succeeding spot. First down. Pretty simple. Okay, thanks for joining us here on week 5. Next week, we have scoring play situations, and it'll be our final week. Thanks for joining.